This is Rugby Merlin and welcome back to the channel. So the Lions squad has been announced. So in my book now, all systems are go for the summer. The Australian tour and 38-man squad has been announced, and yeah, it's interesting to say the least. So let's get into it. So first off, we have Tadhg Beirne. That's a no-brainer really. Playing well, in form, fit. So yeah, no question about that. Then next up, Ollie Chessum. Now he's a very good player, can cover the back row too. And when he has played, he's played very well. But he's a player coming back from injury, and this will be a theme actually through this. The squad is a lot of players are coming back from injury, and I don't really like that. You want to pick players who are fighting fit and who can do the job over the entire tour. Hopefully Ollie Chessum can, but he's a good player. But next on to Jack Conan. Again, I'm a big fan of his. He's come off the bench a lot though. So does he have the match fitness? Maybe he can get it with the Lions tour. Maybe I think he'll have a few midweek games and bring him up to speed. Luke Cowan-Dickie then, he's kind of a card machine, although he's calmed down a bit in recent years, I will give him that, but he can be little bit of a liability, but if he's going to be backing up Sheehan, that's a pretty good call, I would say. Next, Scott Cummings. Now I didn't even know who he was, like, I gotta be honest. Maybe I'm out of the loop or something, or I'll take my criticisms if they deserve, but I was thinking like Graham Gilchrist, surely from Scotland, would get a shout, but no. That's first of, I would say, two outside picks that Farrell has put in his squad. So Scott Cummings as a second row, I guess. Like I said, don't know much about him. From Scotland, and yeah, that was a big surprise. Next, Tom Curry, one of the Curry brothers. They could have taken two of them actually, and I've also heard that Curry's picked up an injury, but we'll have to wait and see about that. But he played very well in the Six Nations, so I think he earned his spot. Ben Earl, who hasn't been in top form, I don't think. He had a fantastic Six Nations last year. And again, a theme that runs through the squad is like, he didn't really pick players in general that played well this year. So he's not really going on form, he's more going on reputation. And I think Ben Earl is a player who could thank his lucky stars that he got selected. Xander Ferguson, or Ferguson, yeah, he played very well, and he's been very consistent over the last few seasons. Great prop, and then combined with Tadhg Furlong, again, injury, coming back has hardly played any rugby at all, but just his previous achievements, his Lions pedigree, and overall top-notch play gets him in there. Ellis Genge can count himself a little bit lucky, but I think he's solidified as a very reliable loose head there. So no arguments with that selection. Maro Itoje is named, unsurprisingly, in the second row, but he also gets a captaincy. Now Doris, very, very unlucky to get injured. So yeah, that's kind of, Itoje will be very happy about it, but it's hard luck for Doris. But hopefully he can. I'm not sure the extent of his shoulder injury, so hopefully he can get back in the side at some point during this tour, whether he'll take the captaincy again, which is a great honour. I'm not sure. Next is Ronan Kelleher. He's been in and around the Irish team for a while, but backing up Sheehan recently. Obviously Farrell knows him very well, and I think based on that he's got into the squad because he hasn't really set the world alight, and he's a very functional hooker, and not really inspired, which is kind of the theme of this video. Is kind of Farrell has gone for the safe bets, which I can't blame him for, you know what I mean? Yeah, not really inspired there. My personal favourite, as you probably know if you watch the channel, is Dave Cherry. I would have loved to seen him sneak in there with the, you know, his bald head. He's a proper he's a club man, you know what I mean? Always turns up to training, does everything right, makes friends with the coach. So Dave Cherry I would have gone for maybe there. But anyway, moving on. Big Joe, in the second round. Yeah, no arguments there. He's kind of, after he burst on the scene, he's had a good season this year. So yeah, it's pretty nice. Jack Morgan, one of the two Welshmen that got in. A little bit lucky to get in, I think, considering like the previous couple of performances. He wasn't really great, but he set a very high standard for himself. So again, based off that, you can't really argue with it. Pollock, now Henry Pollock, I don't know much about him because he hasn't really played. I did see him score that fantastic try where Pendergast embarrassed himself by falling off the tackle. I think it was last weekend. But apart from that, I don't really know much about him. But you know, I guess he's the bolter. Was it a thing back in the day where the Lions would choose an uncapped player? I think it was, and I think he's kind of the substitute for that. So yeah, you know, let's see how he goes. I think he's an exciting player and he could do well. So he's one I'm excited to see how he goes and responds to being around these old heads in the Lions side. Porter, again, no brainer, being absolutely magnificent. James Ryan, again, like Cowan Dickey, a bit of a card machine. So he's had his issues, I think, with the Irish kind of rugby union and the establishment there, in and out, and coming off the bench and things like that. So I was a little bit surprised to see him straight in there, but you know, he's a good player, no doubt. Schumann, he's a very good prop, and he does good work around the field. So yeah, not a bad selection at all. Dan Sheehan, no brainer again. Will Stewart, he's one I'm very happy for to see him get on the Lions tour. He's really come into his own, I think, this year, and he's been rewarded for it, and he's done very well. He's a big lump, and you know, question marks maybe about his work rate around the park, but a very good player. And then Josh Van der Fleer, who after getting player of the year had a little bit of a dip in form, but he's coming right back into it at the correct time for the Lions. So yeah, those are the forwards. And I will just give at this kind of halfway mark, before we get into the backs, a breakdown of like the nations and things. There were 38 players selected. 13 from England, 15 from Ireland, 8 from Scotland, and 2 from Wales, which I think we were lucky to get in the end, you know. And you know, any criticisms I have, I've been aware of this, and I've been asked it a couple of times from friends. It's like, are you upset about you know, the lack, or yeah, the lack of Welshmen in the squad? And not really, you know, because none of them really deserved it. And I was kind of surprised that we got the 2 in that we did. But I will say, like, 12 players from Leinster, that's a big one. And I'm wondering how the Irish fans feel about that. I mean, it tells us a lot about Irish rugby at the moment, where, you know, it's very top heavy in terms of like all of the players. They have a huge squad at Leinster, maybe too big. So I'd be interested to hear what the Irish boys think about that. But let's get into the backs. So first up we have Bundee Aki, a very good player. In and out of form a little bit over the last 2 years, but when he's on fire, he really is on fire, and he could be, if he stays fit and he's playing well, he'd definitely be a test prospect, I think. Elliot Daly, now that was a surprising name on the squad selection. At at first I thought it was outrageous really to pick him, but you know, he's past his best, and his best was okay. You know what I mean? But a friend of mine, English guy, he did mention like he can cover a lot of positions and he has a great boot on him. So, but still, I mean, it's a bit of a slap in the face for other players who played like in that back line or back three, particularly, which he's probably going to be covering, for him to get selected. But he, as my mate said, he does have good Test caliber and Lions caliber. So maybe they're looking for the like experience, maybe to lead the youngsters through what is pretty intense tour. Tommy Freeman, no brainer. Got a hat trick last weekend. Absolutely on fire at the moment. Gibson Park, again, yeah, of course he's going to be like up for the Test spot, no doubt. Mark Hansen, again, player who struggled with injury recently, didn't particularly play well when he came back. So that's like a bit of a question mark for me. But yeah, I guess as well, Farrell knows him very well, knows what he's capable of, and he's a great player, you know what I mean? For a small guy, he's incredibly good in the air, and he has a lot of other attributes. But we'll see how it goes. Hugh Jones, just a quality player, try scoring machine. Hugo Keenan, I mean, very, very good. Although he's slipped off a little bit recently, I would say. But yeah, this is a class act. King Hone, who's over in France, he got selected. You know, not many people would argue with that. James Lowe, again, good finisher. His defense is a little bit questionable at the highest level, but we'll see how he goes. Mitchell is playing very well for his club. So yeah, and then Gary Ringrose, again, it tends to pick up a few injuries, and I'd be interested to see whether he can stay fit for the entire tour. I hope he does. And you know, let's see if we can get the best out of him on this tour of Australia. Finn Russell and Finn Smith, I guess they're the 1 and 2. I would say actually Finn Smith has probably put his hand up for the first choice so far, because yeah, he's really impressed me, particularly Northampton and England. His defence for England was magnificent, throwing himself around. But Finn Russell on his day, you know, he's hard to beat. But I think consistency-wise, Farrell might opt for Finn Smith. Although there's talk of Owen Farrell being like airdropped into the squad, which I think would be a mistake. It's going to draw a lot of criticism, I think, from the press and the public. Nepotism, etc. But and Farrell hasn't really had a greatest season. But we'll see how it goes. Marcus Smith, I guess he's been relegated to utility back now, but he is on tour, which I'm sure he'll be happy about. So he'll have his chance at some point. Tuipulotu in the centre for Scotland, from Scotland for the Lions, and yeah. Again, injury. You know, he's hardly played any rugby this year. So, but he's on tour. Yeah, that's the thing. We'll get to it at the end. Van der Merwe, yeah, very good in attack. Again, defence may be questionable, but you know, you can't really leave him out. He's such a weapon. And then Thomas Williams at 9, which I was a little bit surprised about actually. Yeah, I thought he played terrible for Wales, but again, you know, my biases probably discount my opinion on that front, but apparently he's been playing really well for Gloucester, so hopefully he can find a little bit of that club form now when he gets the Lions shirt on his back, and that would be nice to see. I'd be happy to see that for him. Kind of floating around conversations around, we've got Owen Farrell, Jack Willis, Caelan Doris, Jamie George left out, which I was surprised about. They're looking for an old experienced head to kind of, you know, introduce the youngsters into like kind of tour life, I think Jamie George would have been a perfect choice. And I don't think Cowan Dickey is, that good of a player that he should push out George. But there we are. I would have liked to have seen George in there, because of his experience. Doris, very unfortunate to miss out. He was odds on to be captain. Jack Willis playing over for Toulouse. He had a good game again in the semi-final, even though Toulouse lost. But it's kind of criminal that he's not in this Lions team. But maybe we can see some developments in that. And then Farrell, as I said, I think it would be a mistake to bring him in. I don't think he's needed. He's past his prime, obviously. Getting his paycheck over in France. But overall, I would say a little bit too much of a reliance on reputation. Like I say, a lot of the players have been selected who have been injured for quite a while and haven't really had to prove themselves this year actually playing rugby, but there's a basis there for a very strong team, so we'll have to see how it evolves. But looking at the selection, I can't personally see how Farrell wants to play from his selection. There's a kind of a mixture there. So I'm a little bit uninspired at the moment about this Lions tour. I hope I'm proven wrong, and I will be watching, and rooting the boys on. But it's going to be interesting to see how everyone goes. There's some players I'm going to be watching who I'd really like to do well. Mainly the youngsters. They can make or break their reputation on Lions tours, and I think this one is no exception. So, but they should beware Australia, because Anders Schmidt, who has proven himself to be a very, very competent coach, even with a bunch of inexperienced boys, but they have a lot of raw talent. So they better they better bring their A game, I think, the Lions. So it should be some good matches, I think. And I am looking forward to it overall. But as I say, a little bit uninspired. But there we go. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you for the next video. Bye-bye.